From crypto fam to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Let's get it. We just retested 38,000 overnight. How many of you were on that live pump watch? Please do let me know. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. And did you know exactly 1 year ago today, El Salvador became the first nation on the planet to start buying one Bitcoin every single day. And at that time, it's acquired since 13 million in BTC for 9.5 million USD, which is a 120% gain. And ironic enough, Bitcoin is up 100%. 120%, I should say, on the year. Talk about a legendary dollar cost average. Also, Bitcoin broke a new all-time high in Turkey overnight, where the official inflation rate is 61%. Kind of seems like a precursor of what's going to happen to the US dollar. Also, Ferrari's Bitcoin acceptance is a major market win, according to the coin flip CEO. Let's go Raris. Also, Grayscale's Ethereum Futures ETF is a Trojan horse for the spot Ethereum ETF, according to this analyst. I'll be breaking this down for you. Also, the SEC delays their decision on the Hashdex spot Bitcoin ETF conversion, and there is a final window of opportunity to get all 12 of these ETFs approved by Friday, but the clock is quickly ticking as that's right around the corner. We're also going to be discussing BlackRock just filed an S1 form for their spot Ethereum ETF with the SEC. We're also going to be discussing everything regarding the BlackRock CEO Larry Fink and his bullishness on Bitcoin as it is a flight to quality. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this plus so much more in today's show. Welcome, crypto fam. What it do? Appreciate y'all tuning in. Laura, I have a feeling there's going to be a massive movement tomorrow. Let's see. Maybe we're going to break 38 and head on up to 40,000. I love your work. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you tuning in to the live. We're streaming early today. We started early. Tomorrow is going to be the same time, and we'll be back to our regular schedule at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Just FYI. What up, Cryptolution? Let's freaking go. ETF tomorrow. There's still a possibility. I'd say probably about now a 10 to 15% chance we get the approval this week, but most likely no Claire Gare and the SEC are going to continue kicking that can down the road as long as they possibly can, right? They don't want the ETF approved, or they would have did so a very long time ago. So they're only going to do it when they're demanded to do it, and there's no other choice. The second deadline, that's correct, Robert Daniel, it's January 10th. What up, Chris Minka? Good morning, fam, or good afternoon. Appreciate y'all tuning in. First and foremost, this is a live and interactive show, so please let me know where you're tuning in from and interact between the segments when I share the news with you. I have a feeling there'll be a massive movement tomorrow. I think you're right, Laura. Much love. Let's freaking go, crypto bros. ETF tomorrow, says WorldStar Promos. Well, we shall see. Randall McMurphy, tidal wave, send it. That's right. Tsunami coming for Bitcoin. Not only is BlackRock now coming for your Bitcoin, they're also coming for your Ether. So protect your neck, aka protect your coins. Self-custody would be the way to go. We're currently at $36,500. How many of you attended my pump watch that we had from last night to this morning? Let me know. I think the stream went for 8.5 hours. It was pretty lit. But without further ado, we do have lots to cover, so let's kick it off. If you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button as you'll receive daily premium crypto news alerts, as well as receive an on-screen shout out from yours truly. And also be sure to hit the like button, as it helps out tremendously with that YouTube algorithm. And shout out to RadPP2. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Much love and much respect. Without further ado, let's kick it off with our market watch. You should be able to see on your screen. We got Bitcoin currently consolidating after looking to re-break or retest 38,000. We came just short, currently trading at 36,700. We have Ether in the red, BNB, Solana, and XRP all correcting and in the red, while Cardano, AVAX, and Doge are pumping and in the green. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, we can see the current crypto market cap sits at 1.41 trillion with 74 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance back on the decline at 50.9%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers of the past Last 24 hours, we have YFI up 30% for the day, trading at 14,500, followed by Render up 25%, trading at $3.30, followed by Kaspa up 19%, trading just under 14 cents. Now let me know which altcoins, if any, are you most bullish on for this cycle. Let me know in those comments. I appreciate it. And checking out crypto bubbles, we can see on the daily, a lot of the alts have been pulling back, as yesterday everything was soaring and in the green. Celestia is down 11.4%, and just overall more losses than gains, but this is to be expected with consolidation after a very bullish sentiment and market pump in the entire crypto market. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a 70 in greed, yesterday a 60, last week a 69, and last month a 52, which is neutral. So there you have it. How many of you are currently bullish on the King Crypto? Do let me know. Shout out to Matthew. Shout out to all of our moderators, the Coin Father, Digital Dankness, Streamlabs in the building, Double Down on 11. Hey, that's my favorite number. What's the jersey? Most all my jerseys are number 11, minus my Iverson jerseys, just FYI. All red today, yeah. We'll see if we can retest 38 and break through, and the alts will always follow the king. A rising tide rises all ships, as a wise man once said. What up, Michael Amos? Jasmy and Saul. I'm not familiar with Jasmy. We all know Solana being one of the top gainers on the month, up probably close to 200% by now, which is wild. What it do, UFO nut? Originally from Saratoga. Oh, that's what's up. Much love, fam. Cryptolution is bullish on AVAX, Algo, Gala, Fetch, Mina, Pepe, and others too. Word up. Happy pumpage. Stack and Sats and hodling fam. Love to hear that, Matthew. Music to my ears. Another day, guys. You got that right, Spidey. Triple doubling like Allen Iverson. There you go. Let's freaking go. But without further ado, let's break down today's Bitcoin technical analysis. Check out the charts where the Bitcoin price action is likely to go next. And welcome those just joining us. Bitcoin circled the key level into the November 16th Wall Street Open after copycat Bitcoin price action produced a fresh attack of 38,000. Look at that chart. We got so freaking close. Again, it was like 37,999, just like we witnessed a few days back. So Cointelegraph and TradingView showed a swift turnaround for the king, which reversed upwards after a precipitous come down earlier in the week. The daily chart printed a nearly identical pattern to that seen the week prior. Exactly. Talk about deja vu, with 38,000 still acting as a firm resistance. Let me know when you feel we're likely to break that resistance. Now at around 37.4, Bitcoin was testing what analysts highlighted as an essential support zone to retain. As Scoob points out here, Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart, price in the area of interest now. The bulls should pray here, in my opinion. And monitoring resource material indicators revealing a tentative long signal on one of its proprietary trading indicators said the current price zone held the difference between further upside and invalidation. Quoting them here, trend precognition indicates that this rally may not be over yet. 40,000 has come into focus, but there certainly are no guarantees Bitcoin can reach it this week. For a dip below 35,375 would invalidate the trading signals. So that's the line in the sand to keep your eyes out on. If we drop below that, be prepared, and it'll be another great buying opportunity. The initial upside push came as the U.S. regulators extended the delay on deciding whether or not to approve various ETFs. November has seen a stream of rumors over a possible watershed moment for Bitcoin being about to hit in the form of the country's first Bitcoin spot price-based ETF. Now, while a delay preserved the uncertain status quo, the markets had no time for cold feet, a curious move that did not go unnoticed by popular trader Scoo, as well as others. As Scoo shares here, decent game theory take, it would make sense for the spot ETFs to be approved first and a blend to be more regulated and approved later on. All speculative, though, till whatever is approved first. Now let's discuss some of the open interest. Analyzing market composition, fellow trader and analyst Dan Crypto Trades argues that there was now a more compelling case for staying higher. This was thanks to the lower open interest and funding rates compared to the peaks over the past week, quoting the analyst here. Even though the price is at similar levels as last week, the open interest is still considerably less. Funding rates also slightly lower. I think we got a better and more healthy base now than we were where we were last week, as outlined here in this open interest chart. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analysts. And it was exactly 1 year ago on today, El Salvador became the first nation to start buying 1 Bitcoin every day. At that time, or in that time, it acquired 13 million in Bitcoin at 9.5 million USD, which is 120% gain, which is a legendary dollar cost average. Which nation states do you think are to follow in the footsteps of Bukele, who laid out the blueprint? Please do let me know. And this was the initial tweet back on, it was November 16, 2022. We're buying 1 Bitcoin every day, starting tomorrow. What a G. And as shared here, also breaking news, Bitcoin broke a new all-time high in Turkey overnight, where the official inflation rate is 61%. And as I mentioned earlier, this could be a precursor of what's going to happen to the US dollar, as Bitcoin is clearly the apex predator, and all fiat currencies go to zero against the king. Just saying. You know what I mean? Welcome, Sherry. Appreciate you tuning in. KOTM Productions in the building. Says XRP and Kronos all day, every day. Word. I just got Toga, just not the traffic. Word. Jamie is a self-custody for your online data. If you want to use cookies on you, they have to pay for it on Web3. Good to note, Michael. Thanks for sharing that. I'm switching from Ledger to Elapal, says CryptoLucian, when I get the chance. Word up. No longer a fan of Ledger. It's always a good buy when Bitcoin buying anytime before the next year. You got that right, Spidey, because 2024 is going to be lit like a mofo. You already know. Chris says, bulls don't pray. We dollar cost average and buy. I'm adding 1 to 5% of my position if we hit 35.6. And if lower, I add more. Amen. Does mining Bitcoin count as buying? It would count as accumulating Bitcoin, stacking sats, nonetheless. Back from the bloodletting. What? Relaxing? What are you talking about? The bloodletting? Oh, you're referring to the market. Yeah. Well, little correction. Nothing to be too concerned about. Got to consider, yesterday we pumped like $2,500 in a flash. So we're still in the green, so all good. Mining Bitcoin is better than buying because you are the security to the network. Good to note. Also, running your own Bitcoin node helps secure the network as well. But let's dive into our next story of the day. We got a lot to cover. Let's discuss Ferrari and Bitcoin being a big milestone moment for the King Crypto, according to the Coin Flip CEO. Ferrari's decision, and if you missed the news a few weeks back, they announced that they're now accepting Bitcoin to buy your Ferrari. That's right. They allow US residents to buy its cars in exchange for crypto, such as Bitcoin, has become one of the biggest market wins this year. According to the CEO of the Bitcoin ATM operator, Coin Flip, Ferrari has been aware of the growing demand from clients for alternative payment solutions and decided to support dealers in meeting these client requests. Here's what the representative had to share. The source of the cryptocurrencies will be proven. The volatility risks associated with exchange rates will be eliminated. Dealers and ultimately Ferrari will receive payments in traditional currency and will not be managing cryptocurrencies directly. So there you have it. Ferrari added the crypto payment support by integrating BitPay, which is a major crypto payment firm serving global brands like AMC Theaters and electronics retailer Newegg, amongst others. And according to BitPay, Ferrari customers in 10 US locations, including Washington and Vegas, can now exchange their crypto for a top Ferrari model, such as the SF90 Stradale or the Ferrari Purosange. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right, fam. Correct me. Daytona SP3 and others. All I got to say is these Ferraris are sexy as all hell. But according to the CoinFlip CEO Ben Wise, Ferrari's move to accept crypto payments is significant for this market. Quoting him here, their notable reputation can increase adoption, cryptocurrency value, and consumer confidence. Wise said, suggesting their crypto move is also likely to spark interest from lawmakers to develop clear regulatory frameworks. Wise believes that Ferrari's push will eventually push more traditional global firms to accept Bitcoin as a payment. I agree. Here's what he says. It's not a matter of will the big name companies follow Ferrari's footsteps, but when. Bitcoin is the best performing asset of the decade, proving it's here to stay and encouraging other big names like PayPal and BlackRock to embrace digital assets Preach. Now, the Ferrari decision to adopt crypto payments has come in line with aspects related to environmental, social, and corporate governance. The firm's representative shared the analysis of data regarding the environmental impact associated with crypto has been a fundamental part of our decision-making process to adopt cryptocurrencies, in line with our objective to become carbon neutral by 2030. So according to industry analysts, the share of Bitcoin mining energy from renewable resources exceeded 50% as of mid-September of this year. However, Elon has yet to adopt the Bitcoin payment option after halting those payments in 2021 over carbon concerns and FUD, which makes me question the motives of Elon. What are your thoughts? Quoting them here. Tesla still accepts Dogecoin, and Elon continues to be a proponent of crypto, Dogecoin. CoinFlip CEO Weiss noted, adding that Tesla's founder could also boost crypto adoption by simply introducing it to the social media platform, which I think is going to be coming around the corner. Elon also has significant experience with payments from his PayPal days, as he was an early founder, right? And if Elon decides to bring payments to X, which we all know he's going to do, as many expect, crypto would be a natural payment rail. And he's also come out and said he's not going to be launching his own crypto, but isn't it ironic he is still standing strong behind Dogecoin? Makes you go, why is that? Is he an enemy of Bitcoin behind the scenes, but even though he has it on his own balance sheet? For Tesla, why hasn't he began accepting Bitcoin payments for his cars, knowing that ESG was nothing more than FUD? You know what I mean? Questions you got to ask yourself. Now, in a publicly accessible doc titled What You Need to Know If You Use Bitcoin, Tesla listed several facts about the crypto, including the Bitcoin payments are irreversible, which is a fact. That's just the way the Bitcoin network works. No do-overs. So please make sure you enter the correct Bitcoin price in the amount field and the correct Bitcoin address in the recipient field, the document reads. And some more advice for anyone just sending crypto for the first time, send a test. You don't need to send the full amount. If you wanted to hypothetically ultimately send $10,000, you can start with $1 and just see if it works, you know what I mean? And get the feel for it. You don't have to go crazy, especially as a noob, you know what I mean? Yes, bad deal for a Ferrari. Make percentage on Bitcoin and lose 20% driving it off the lot. Not worth it. Well, maybe one day you'll be a multi-Bitcoin millionaire or billionaire, and you'll be able to say, hey, I need to spend this Bitcoin on something, and maybe then you'll buy the Ferrari. Who knows? Good morning, Juan Romero. Appreciate you tuning in. DCAing since 2021. It's now 1.29 BTC. Congratulations, Shaitan Patel. Massive win there. Continue stacking. You're doing well. Good morning, Jeff S. Appreciate you. Got into Bitcoin 2020, 2021, right after the holidays. Thank you, guys. There is a live poll right now in the live chat. Let me know when you first bought your first Bitcoin or Satoshis. We want to know. If you're going to Ishcoin, you should stay with the ones with the high volume and exit liquidity, so you're less likely to get stuck and wrecked. That's right. The lower the market cap, the more risky the crypto, clearly. I don't trust Elon, says Juan. Well, I think I can agree with you on that sentiment. What does the rest of you think about Elon? The FUD puppet must? Let me know. Yeah, you got to be careful of anyone trying to implant microchips in your brain. Just saying. Do you think the SEC will shut down the altcoin trading designation or designating them securities for this cycle? I mean, they're clearly trying to go after all the exchanges promoting altcoins, hence why they've deemed CZ and Binance an enemy. They've already had lawsuits against Coinbase, but I think some of the exchanges are finally winning, and the SEC is finally receiving pushback, which is good when they start receiving L's on their unlawful lawsuits, in my opinion, just like with XRP and just like more recently with GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust product, which currently holds over 620,000 BTC, making them the largest hodler of Bitcoin in the world. Let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss this Trojan ETF. That's right. Grayscale ETH Futures ETF is a Trojan horse for the spot Ethereum ETF, according to this analyst. So let's break this down. Grayscale Investments is using its Ether Futures ETF app as a Trojan horse to corner the US SEC into approving the first spot Ethereum ETF, according to Bloomberg analyst James Seyfarth, who is the ETF expert. He said in a new post on X following the SEC delaying the Grayscale ETH Futures Ethereum bid that he believes that the SEC approves the Grayscale app. It would enable Grayscale to argue for the approval of its spot Ethereum ETF application. Now, if the SEC denies Grayscale's bid, the asset manager could argue that the SEC is treating Bitcoin and Ethereum future ETFs differently by allowing one under the Securities Act of 1933, but not the other. Quoting the analyst here, watch the SEC try to either approve or argue why this is different from a spot, or deny and argue why 1933 Act products are meaningfully different from the 1940 Act products. Both are bad for the SEC, in my opinion. Genius move. Now, Grayscale's Ether futures ETF bid was submitted via a 19B4 form, which is filed to inform the SEC of a security-based swap request. Safeart said that none of the 40 or so approved Ether ETF products went through the 19B4 approval process. So this is the first. Safeart was initially unsure why Grayscale filed its Ether futures ETF via the 19B4. He now believes Grayscale is playing chess with the SEC by using the Ether futures ETF as a Trojan horse to obtain a 19B4 order form from the regulator to corner them into a lose-lose situation. Well, if so, checkmate. Obviously, BlackRock knows what they're doing. Quoting James here, I was initially unsure whether I would even file for this, but my thoughts have evolved over the last few weeks, and they are basically this. Grayscale's playing chess, not checkers here. They're likely hoping to force the SEC into issuing the 19B4 decision on the Ethereum futures ETF. Safeart and Scott Johnson, the general president of Van Buren Capital, added Grayscale wouldn't launch the Ether futures ETF, so doubtful this product ever trades, but useful as a vessel to get spot Ether over the finish line. Very clever indeed. Kudos to Grayscale. Now, Safeart's comments come as the SEC delayed its decision on the Grayscale Ether futures ETF just yesterday, November 15th, 2 days earlier than the November 17th deadline, which is tomorrow. Safeart said he wasn't surprised by the delay. And also, we're going to be discussing Hashdex now, which is actually our next story of the day. But let me check the chat. And what do you guys think regarding all these ETFs and the deadlines? Let me know, and I'll read some of these comments out loud. Did you ever try to sell them on Shiba Swap? And I also saw, please confirm if this is true, but I saw a post on X last night that Shiba Inu has a spokesperson for their crypto by the name of Manny Pacquiao, legendary boxer. Let me know if that's true. I saw that last night. I wasn't able to verify it. There are only about 10 coins that aren't stables that are even 1 billion in volume. Good to note, Matthew. Smart guys, Grayscale, like 100%. And they won that, frivolous lawsuit against the SEC on their GBTC conversion as well. So they clearly know what they're doing and have good legal representation, which is what we need. Someone going after the SEC and calling them out. I think that the years down the line, these ETFs will suppress the Bitcoin price like it has with gold, says Juan. True, Matthew, it was nerve-wracking seeing only tens of millions being sold. I was freaking, says Relaxing. Gary Gensler's upset that CZ crushed his BDF. Does anyone else in this double bottom forming for the Bitcoin chart? What chart are you looking at, fam? Let us know. Shantan, is JP Morgan pumping AVAX and buying Bitcoin in the back door? And I have Bitcoin. Why wait for the ETF? Right, for the plebs, we don't need the ETF. It's for the institutions. It's for the trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines that don't have the permission to invest into Bitcoin. All of us plebs, we much prefer the real thing. We don't want the ETF. The ETF is specifically so you don't need to self-custody your crypto, not your keys, not your coins. Us plebs know better. But again, for the big institutions, this is how they invest. So the ETFs are going to open up a green light for trillions of dollars to pour into Bitcoin, and we get to front run all the major institutions. How lit is that? You know what I mean? But let's dive into our next story of the day. We still got a lot to share. Next up, let's break down more detailed these ETF delays, which just literally got delayed. The SEC announced the delay in its decision process on the Hashdex applicant to convert its existing Bitcoin futures ETF as a spot. Hashdex is a prominent fund manager who applied in September to transform its ETF listed on the New York Stock Exchange into the spot ETF. This move is noteworthy because Hashdex's proposal involves a unique approach to managing ETF assets. The fund manager plans to hold a diversified mix of assets, including Bitcoin future contracts, spot Bitcoin, and cash. This strategy is designed to mitigate the risks associated with market manipulation as well as enhance the ETF stability. And in response to the Hashdex app, the SEC issued a filing yesterday, November 15th, explaining its decision to extend the review period by another 45 days. The agency cited the need for more time to thoroughly assess and the proposed rule changes and address the issues raised during the evaluation process. Quoting them here, the Commission finds it appropriate to designate a longer period within which it'll take action on the proposed rule change so that it has sufficient time to consider the proposed rule change and the issues raised therein, according to the SEC announcement. Now, simultaneously, and interestingly enough, the SEC delayed the decision on Grayscale's attempt to launch a new futures-based Ethereum ETF. This delay is the case related to the rule change associated with the Grayscale proposed Ethereum futures ETF. Grayscale Investments filed for the new ETF tracking Ethereum futures in September under the Securities Act of 1933 and the Investment Company Act of 1940, and the SEC previously approved Bitcoin future ETFs registered under both acts. These delays come at a time of heightened anticipation within the crypto industry for the federal regulator's potential approval of the spot ETF. The SEC has thus far rejected all attempts to list such a product from general investing public. And this all began over a decade ago with the Winklevoss twins handing in the first application for the spot ETF. They've been getting denied ever since. Now, in 2023 alone, more than a dozen companies have submitted apps to launch spot ETFs, and several others are seeking approval for similar products tied to Ethereum, and the regulator has yet to indicate how it might ultimately rule on these latest submissions, leaving the industry in anticipation as well as uncertainty, all by design, because uncertainty causes panic in the market, and like you see right now, the market doesn't know how to react. If we get the news, yo, we just greenlit 12 spot ETFs from the major asset managers controlling 25 trillion in assets under management, green light, we can return to all-time highs at the blink of an eye. God candles, send it. Let's go. What up, Jace84? Think we can pump again? 100%. I think 38 has a bit of resistance, then probably some resistance around 40. That's a given, clearly. But we already now tested 38 twice. We got up to, at 37,999. So the more times we build up momentum, the more likely we're finally crush it. Hit the like, love the energy. Thank you, Powered by Bitcoin. I appreciate it as I sip on some water. Send it 10x. Let's freaking go. Let's break down our next story of the day. I still got some more to share with you. Let's discuss the BlackRock Ethereum ETF form, which was just submitted today and coming in as breaking news. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, they're known to control 9-10 trillion of assets under management, officially filed for the spot Ethereum exchange-traded fund with the US SEC November 15th. The Ether ETF, dubbed the iShares Ethereum Trust, aims to reflect generally the performance of the price of Ether, read the S1 filed with the SEC. Now, the iShares brand is associated with the BlackRock ETF products, with its Bitcoin ETF called the iShares Bitcoin Trust. The trust appoints Coinbase as the custodian for the underlying Ethereum. Now, the move by BlackRock comes nearly a week after it registered the iShares Ethereum Trust with Delaware's Division of Corporations, and almost 6 months after it filed for the spot Bitcoin ETF application. And here's the official listing right here. As you can see, it's called the S1 form, filed with the SEC on November 15th. It shows you right here the iShares Ethereum Trust, sponsored by iShares Delaware Trust. The exact name of the registrant, shows you the address, and ultimately it's just the official filing. BlackRock started the spot Bitcoin ETF rush earlier this year, demonstrating the growing interest of institutions in the crypto market. And within 6 months, it now joins the growing list of institutions filing for the spot Ethereum ETF. Now, filing for a spot ETF is a two-step process where the ETF issuer must get the SEC approval from the Trading and Markets Division on the 19B4 filing and the Corporate Finance Division on its S1 filing or prospectus. The spot Ethereum ETF rush in 2023 began early November when the SEC acknowledged Grayscale's investment app to convert its Ethereum trust into an ETF, following the likes of their Bitcoin trust GBTC into a spot ETF. That's the game plan. Now, many institutional giants have also filed for the crypto spot ETFs during the last bull cycle as well, only to face rejection from the SEC and no Claire Gare, which claimed the size of the crypto market was not big enough for the spot crypto ETF, or it may have been Jay Clayton who preceded Mr. Gensler. Now, market pundits and ETF analysts have predicted the chances of approval for the spot Bitcoin ETF by early 2024, January 10th being the deadline, are as high as 90%. And these predictions come from the top ETF analysts over at Bloomberg. Now, while the approval for the spot Bitcoin ETF or Ether ETF will probably come after that, which is a given, the institutional rush into crypto-based spot ETFs comes as the crypto market is in a recovery phase, having gained a significant chunk of lost ground from the previous bear market. How many of you remember those $69,000 all-time highs? I cannot wait for those moments to come back, entering price discovery mode, hitting six figures, celebrating with the fam here in Puerto Rico for a $100,000 fiesta. Let's go. Proavian Souls. What are you referring to there, Neo? And what it do? The chosen one. About 141,000, says Neo. Is that your target, fam, for this cycle? I think after the ETF announcement, it could be easily 70,000. I'd be disappointed if it was lower. UFO, I've been wanting to send, but I need an address. What are you looking to send, fam? Novum says Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana, and RNDR in that order. I'm calling that for the top of the market. Right on. I appreciate your balls and calling it. I love predictions. I love when people make predictions. My bad, I was not on the live. All good, Big Bob. You're here now and we're live, so you're here. We've just been going live like a maniac here at Crypto News Alerts. The goal is to get to 100,000 subs. We're above 60. We have the momentum of the market working in our favor. We're about to enter the 2024 bull, so you already know. I'm anticipating 10x growth, which would take us to 600,000 subs. Send it and let's go. And may the Bitcoin price action follow my subscription base. Shall we? Bitcoin ETF is like a derivative of gold, and Ethereum ETF is like a derivative of fool's gold. That's a great analogy. Skip on down the road. I appreciate that. Bitcoin 40,000 by Black Friday. Send it, says Big Bob. Let's go. Okay, fam. Now let's dive into our breaking story of the day. A tsunami is coming into Bitcoin, according to BlackRock CEO Larry, aka Lawrence Fink, the big dog. So let's break down what the big dog has to say. When he was making his rounds on mainstream television, this is what he shared. This rally is way beyond the rumor. I think the rally today is about a flight to quality with all the issues around the Israeli war now, global terrorism, and I think there is more people running into a flight to quality, whether that's in treasuries, gold, or crypto, and depending upon how you think about it, and I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. Amen. Larry Fink, preach. Now I want to share with you this bullish price prediction, and then I'm going to be sharing with you some bullish news as well. But they're also claiming that Tether, USDT, and USDC Circle are threats to Bitcoin and their ETF, which is interesting, which leads me to believe, does BlackRock and Mr. Fink have plans of launching their own stablecoin? Well, let's discuss all of it. Let's start with the prediction. The anonymous host of Invest Answers is predicting the approval of a spot ETF will trigger massive inflows from the Wall Street giants. The analyst shares that investing giants Fidelity, which controls $4.5 trillion in assets under management, Charles Schwab, you can see them here on the screen, $7 trillion in assets under management. You got Citadel, which is $0.5 trillion. You got Deutsche Bank, which is just above $1 trillion. BlackRock, which is considered 9 to 10 trillion. You got Nomura, which is 0.7 trillion, and Franklin Templeton, which has 1.4 trillion. Collectively, you add these up, we're talking 25 trillion in assets under management. This is a pretty big deal, clearly. Now, according to the analysts, if the 7 Wall Street firms allocated just 0.5 percentage point of their assets under management into the spot Bitcoin ETF in the first year, then after the April 2024 halving, Bitcoin could surge by approximately 3,200% from the current levels in less than half a decade. Quoting him here, if the Wall Street giants allocate 0.5% of the assets under management that many believe they will probably do very easily. Agreed. It's a given. Now, especially with the connections of pension funds, etc., that need some type of alpha to dip their pension funds out of the hole, or else they're just going to go backward and become defunct. This is the assumption that 0.5% of asset managers go into the first year from April 2024 all the way up. And if this happens just for the first year, the demand will spike in the price of Bitcoin by April 2028. And again, assuming that 0.5% allocation happens, again, very conservative, right, fam? In the first year, another 0.5%. and the second year, et cetera, et cetera. That will take us to the price of $920,000 per Bitcoin in the year April of 2028. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. I think this is right in a line with Cathie Wood, who's calling for $1 million price by 2030. Keeping in mind the next halving is 5 months out, 2024. The following halving is 2028, and it's typically preceding the halving when we hit a cycle peak. So I'm guesstimating we hit a $1 million Bitcoin price between the year 2028 and 2030. But what are your thoughts, fam? Let me know. Now, hypothetically, what if they allocated only 0.5% for the first year, but then the following year they put 2%? Or what if they go to 3%, 4, 5%? Then it's game on. What if they pull a Ricardo Salinas, the third richest man in Mexico, multi-billionaire, thanks to Bitcoin as well? Bitcoin, he says, is his best investment he's ever made. Now, he has over the majority of his portfolio in Bitcoin. What if a major asset manager like BlackRock says, hey, screw the 0.5%, we're going hard. We're going to put 20% in. Game on. You could only imagine. And what if one asset manager does it? It could be a domino effect, and others can do the same. Nobody wants to miss out. So when the Wall Street giants start buying Bitcoin, should the spot ETFs get the green light? The analyst says, we know it's a given. We already know BlackRock began seeding their spot Bitcoin ETF back in October, according to Larry Fink. And quoting them here, one of the senior executives from BlackRock said they will get that spot ETF in the next 3 to 6 months. I think it's going to be less than 55 days with that deadline now being January 10th. And as I said, it has to be before the halving. BlackRock doesn't want to come in after the halving. They know that's when the fireworks will go off. So send it and let's go. And let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst. I'm going to share one more bonus story for you regarding BlackRock considering Tether a risk for the Bitcoin ETF and why they may be claiming this. Let's break it down. BlackRock's ETF app was again the talk of the crypto town this week, but this time triggered by Tether FUD, which seems to be a very common occurrence. Just FYI, if you haven't noticed. Although the filing is from June, industry watchers recently pointed out that the world's biggest fund manager had included warnings about how Tether and the stablecoin market in general could negatively impact Wall Street titans' Bitcoin ambitions. Who cares what their ambitions are, right? Now, crypto critic and pseudonymous Twitter user Bitfinex pointed out BlackRock is spreading Tether FUD. I agree there, labeling a section in BlackRock's filing that asserted that the price of Bitcoin can be affected by stablecoins as seeding fear. That's FUD, fam. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You got to call it for what it is. What could BlackRock's endgame be? Well, here's what Bitfinex shared. Neato. BlackRock is spreading Tether FUD, mentioned unbanked stablecoins, and create artificial demand. Very interesting, right? Now, discloses Tether fraud has been sanctioned, or unbacked tethers, discloses Tether laundering money. So clearly, Tether is an enemy of Larry Fink and BlackRock. And I personally feel anyone who is an enemy of Tether is probably more than likely an enemy of Bitcoin to some degree here. I know they're launching the ETF, they're bullish as all hell, but the FUD never ends. Why do the true enemies always go after Tether and Bitcoin collectively? It's interesting. But again, in this case, they're embracing Bitcoin and going after Tether. That leads me to believe something very fishy is going on. So first things first, BlackRock, which has over $9 trillion in assets under management, sent shockwaves through the crypto world after it filed for the spot ETF back in June, which sent the Bitcoin price action on a frenzy. The prestigious fund managers app and subsequent comments from the CEO Larry Fink has led people to believe that Bitcoin is just a stone's throw away from massive institutional adoption. Preach. And although the SEC hasn't yet approved a Bitcoin ETF, experts say it's only a matter of time given a 90% probability we get that green light by January 10th, roughly 55 days out. Now, every ETF app needs to disclose the risks. So what was the Tether FUD? While the trust does not invest in stablecoins, it may nonetheless be exposed to risks that stablecoins pose for the Bitcoin market and other digital asset markets. BlackRock's filing read, because a large portion of the digital asset market still depends on stablecoins such as Tether and USDC. Now, interestingly, they're an investor, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Circle is the parent company of USDC, and they're also calling out USDC, which makes it that much more interesting. There is a risk that a disorderly depegging or a run on Tether or USDC can lead to a dramatic market volatility in digital assets more broadly. Now, Tether mints USDT, which is the third largest crypto after Bitcoin and Ethereum, currently with a market cap of $87 billion. And they even have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Tether is making big moves, and clearly this is nothing more than FUD. Now, USDT is the most traded digital asset stablecoin, a crypto backed by the stable asset used to enter and exit trades quickly and without using a traditional bank or fiat currency. It's a way to maintain within the crypto ecosystem. How many of you have used Tether USDT? Please let me know. It's especially useful when dollars are restricted or unavailable, particularly in the sphere of DeFi, which seeks to disintermediate the banks. But Tether is controversial. It has been slow to provide documentation. Again, this is FUD in my opinion, but I'm reading you the story. And prove that the US dollar backs it, but we do know that is a fact. The entity is not independently audited, they claim. In 2021, Tether agreed to no longer do business in New York. I believe they opened up shop in El Salvador, and I don't blame them. That's where I would be as well. And they claim the New York Attorney General, they found it had made false statements about its backing of the stablecoin. Again, in my opinion, that's FUD until they can prove it. And BlackRock has to disclose this. Concerns around the impact that a stablecoin collapse like Tether can have on Bitcoin in the crypto market, so not to be overblown. And when algorithmic stablecoins like Terra UST imploded last year, I wouldn't be comparing these algorithmic stablecoins to Tether, FYI, because they're different. Tether is actually backed by more than one-to-one, according to Max Kaiser, just FYI. Bitcoin did take that heavy hit, and the rest of the digital asset market followed. Now, fierce critics of Tether will continue to doom-monger. That's right. They have always said that Tether can harm Bitcoin, but we all know it complements one another. Just ask the high priest of Bitcoin yourself, Max Kaiser. But that was just hypothetical, right? The BlackRock needed to mention whatever they could to theoretically happen to the crypto market. Tether didn't answer Decrypt's questions, but Van Eck strategy advisor Gaber Gerbach said on Twitter that there was not much to read into the comments from BlackRock, and I agree. So let's read what Gerbach's had to share here. Gaber Gerbach's, my bad. He has an interesting name, right? Try saying that 3 times as fast as you can. Regarding BlackRock's disclosure of the stablecoins poison risk to Bitcoin, ETF issuers do list all risks that they think of in the disclosure. The US dollar itself and the banking availability are risks, and so are electronic outages and natural disasters. Not much to read into, in my opinion. The regulators also flag potential risks around a number of digital asset market structure matters, including stablecoins, many years ago, so there's nothing new here. And as a result, the course, ETF issuers will do their best to disclose any potential risks. This is standard process and prudent practice. So there you have it, my crypto fam. What are your thoughts surrounding Bitcoin as a flight to quality as the ETFs start to get these green lights? Where do you think it's likely to send the King Crypto? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below. Now I'm going to read some Q&A for a little bit and check out what you guys got to share. Amir, what it do? Let me drink some water. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the shout outs, all the love. And remember, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. You'll get an on-screen shout out. I'll also shout you out as well. Let's go. Shatan Patel, love the energy from Crypto News. Great work. Thank you, fam. I'm humbled. I appreciate it. Tomorrow we'll be back again. Same bit time, same bit channel. It's going to be 11 a.m. Eastern. And then Saturday we'll go back to our normal time of 3 p.m. Eastern, just FYI. It's only quality. Amen, Emilio. What up? What it do, Mr. Gonzalez? How's your day going? Michael Saylor has said that the world needs several $1 trillion worth of stable coins. That's right. And Tether's the largest right now. The HODL King, what it do? What up, JV? Just snuck in the back. I appreciate you, HODL King. Much love. Thanks for tuning in to the live. Let me know your feedback on today's episode, fam. You should get a Peter Schiff water mug. No, thank you. I'm not looking at that guy's face every day. It's the last thing I want to see. I'd get a Michael Saylor mug. And speaking of Michael Saylor, my JV React session uncensored on Rumble after the stream ends here on YouTube, it's all dedicated to Michael Saylor. So I picked the most lit Michael Saylor rants and clips, and I'm going to be reacting to them exclusively on Rumble here in a little bit. So hopefully you guys can join me there. What up, Neo? I subscribed a year ago, and since then I lost over 100 pounds and grew my hair. Congrats, bro. You used to have a bald spot, and now you grew your hair back. Holy moly. Gotta love that. And congrats on losing 100 pounds for real, for real. That's a big deal. F1 in Vegas, the weekend Ferrari. Word up, Dub Proof. If Bitcoin goes to 1 million today, will you make news tomorrow? Hell yeah. I'm live every day, fam. If we break out above 38, I'll probably be back with another live pump watch. So we're going to all eyes on 38 right now. We're still only halfway through Moonvember. Don't get it twisted. Bears are not in control. Bears are hibernating and praying with wishful thinking. Thank you, Emilio. Appreciate that super chat, fam. That's what's up. ETF announcement will spike the Bitcoin price, then the price will pull back at the end of 2024. And then the full bull run in 2025. Just my opinion, says Phil C. Well, thank you for sharing. Thomas Joyce Jr., welcome, says I like the info. Well, I appreciate that, fam. Much love, much respect. Thanks for tuning into the show. Good morning, Andy Surfer. Good to see you. The power of subscribing to your channel, bruh. It's like that. Everyone who subscribes to the channel is going to become Bitcoin wealthy. Just saying. I think it's in everyone's best interest to subscribe to the channel and get the daily news, don't you? We're pumping over 38,000 this week. Send it, Dustin. Your wish is my command. There are almost 3x as many people with 10 million net worth compared to the whole coiners. Isn't that wild? Crazy. If you really start to truly visualize the scarcity with only 21 million coins there can ever be in existence, and then you consider the 25 trillion from the top asset managers, the total addressable market north of 700 trillion, people like MicroStrategy already have 158,000 Bitcoin. We got GBTC already custodying 620,000 Bitcoin. US government has hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. There's a very limited supply, fam, and they're going to be fighting over it, I'm telling you. JV, much respect to you, bro. Shout out to Sailing with Twins, Die Hard, pleb here tuning in every day, regardless of where you're at. I appreciate that. Is 38,000 soon? More than likely, Amir. Remember, we corrected to 35 and jumped right back to 38 within 24 hours. It can happen again. Expect the unexpected. Anything is possible. But without further ado, we're going to end the YouTube stream. If you didn't know, I stream simultaneous on YouTube and Rumble at the same time. Rumble is a platform similar to YouTube, but they respect the First Amendment and free speech, and it's uncensored, so I can say things I can't talk about here. We're going to be doing a live lit JV React session. Thank you again, Emilio. I appreciate that super chat, and I highly encourage you to join us. It's going to be awesome. We got the Michael Saylor clips already on the smart pads loaded up and ready to rock. So hopefully you'll join us there, and we'll see you shortly on Rumble. The link is rumble.cryptonewsalerts.net, or simply just visit Rumble and type in Crypto News Alerts and you should be able to see the live stream. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow on YouTube. Same bit time, same bit channel. Deuces. And that's going to end the stream over on the tube. Now we're going to continue over on Rumble.